Welcome to the first episode of Guess That Comic. I am your host, Chad.
Okay.
Starring as your first contestant, Brian in the blue shirt.
It's a huge surprise that I'm the first contestant.
Brian has no idea what's going on in this episode.
No clue.
He was not prefaced to what we were going to do ahead of time. So
No.
he, like you, are doing this for the first time. Here's the game.
I also want to
You
point
have
out
to
that
guess.
I also want to point out that I did not sign a release.
No release.
Okay.
You have to guess the top 10 comic books ever sold. So it's the highest selling 10 comic books ever
In the
sold
history of comics.
in the history of comics. I will give you some clues. Those of you at home, play along with us.
Okay.
I'll give you some clues. Clue number 1. 8 of these 10 comics are from my collection.
Okay.
Clue number 2. They didn't record the number of comic books sold until the late 1980s. So there are no comics here from the Silver Age or Golden Age. The numbers weren't accurate. You can't tell how many was sold, right? So we can assume that Superman...
They're all from the 80s.
Right. So Action Comics number 1, the rumor is it sold like 2 or 3 million copies, right?
Right.
So we talk about
But yeah, there's no real records.
There's no
of that.
real records of that, so we
Okay.
can't use that as the idea, right? So you have the ability to guess any of the 10. Doesn't have to be in order. You're just going to guess. I think one of them is...
Okay.
We can start now. You need any other clues?
No, I think I know number one.
What's number 1?
I think number one is X-Men number one
Number 1
with Jim Lee and Chris Claremont.
is X-Men number 1.
Yes.
1981, X-Men number 1 sold over 8 million copies.
81 or 91?
91.
Because you said 81.
81 I meant 91.
Mm-hmm.
91.
Yep.
1991. So number 1, X-Men number 1. Ooh, look at that. You got one right
I
already.
have multiple copies.
So do I. And that's part of the reason that had sold so many is because I think there was 6 different covers.
Yep.
So it's only counting first prints that sold 8 million. So you got number 1.
Got number one. Okay.
Number 1 done. Try to guess number 2.
This might be off the, I don't know. Let's see.
Or you can guess anyone. Doesn't have to be in order.
Let's go number,
You don't have to guess the number. You
I
can
know,
say,
I'm thinking.
I think.
Number 3, I think, is it Legends of the Dark Knight number 1?
Legends of the Dark Knight number 1 is not in the top 10.
Really? Oh, I thought that was a big one because they had all the multiple colors.
It's not
and-
in the top 10.
Okay, so number 2 is Death of Superman.
Number 2 is not Death of Superman. Number 3 is the Death of Superman.
Okay, so I've got 1 point.
Superman number. Oh, you get a point for getting one. Superman number 75. Sold in 1993. It sold 3 million copies. This is number 3.
So what? Ooh,
Number 3.
What outsold the Death of Superman?
So
We're
what?
just under-
What right here? You don't have to guess them in order.
I know. I'm trying to.
You can guess in any way
I'm
you
working
want.
on a process
Okay.
now.
This is all my Flash collection too. For those of you at home,
Yeah, you can see a lot more of the basement.
these
now,
are
right?
all of. Yeah, this is the first time we're really showing you the other side of the basement. These are my file cabinets where we keep all my comics.
I don't know what. we're
8
looking
of
at
these were
behind me.
pulled from those things.
This door is open.
Yeah, I don't. I can change your background.
That's fine, like that. There you
All
go.
right.
Okay, so I think number 4.
You don't have to guess the number.
I'm just trying.
You just have to guess.
Oh, just name a comic.
You could just say, I think.
Okay. I don't have to say the number.
No, you don't have to say the number.
Okay, now
I'm giving you
I understand the rules.
a chance to guess all 10
Now
at any point.
I've got the rules. I got
Okay.
it. Okay, here we go.
So right now you're 2 for 3 because you guessed the Legend of Batman and it
Okay.
wasn't.
How about Watchmen number 1?
Watchmen number 1 is not.
Really? Wow. Okay.
It is not in the top 10, Brian.
Let's see. Is
Do-
Skateman there?
Do, do, do.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1.
That didn't sell well. There was only 300 copies of that made.
No, I thought there were more than that. Okay.
300 copies of print 1, I believe, is only 300 copies. That's where it's worth so much. Definitely could not be there.
I'm just trying to think of like big things in the 80s.
That's what you're
Secret
swinging.
Wars number 1.
No. What did I say? Listen to the clues.
Okay.
Clue number 1 was they didn't really start keeping track until the late 1980s.
Oh, late 80s.
Secret Wars came out in 85.
Yeah.
So not Secret Wars. I'll give you another hint. There are 2 Batmans, 2 Supermans in the top 10.
The Return of Superman. Was it in Action Comics?
Not in the top 10.
So his death was the top seller, but not his return?
I'll give you another
Kinda
clue.
sad.
Hopefully you guys at home are guessing these as we go along. I'll give you another clue. There are 2 mutant titles in the top 10.
X-Force #1.
X-Force #1 is the second highest selling one of all time.
Okay. Okay.
Art by
Rob Liefeld.
Liefeld. This sold 5 million copies in 1991.
5 million?
5 million.
Wow.
X-Force #1 sold 5 million copies.
How about Spawn #1?
Spawn #1 is number 5.
Okay. I think I'm catching on now.
Written
And
with art by Todd McFarlane. It sold 1.7 million copies in 1992. It was Image Comics' biggest selling comic book of all time, still to this day.
nice.
There you
Okay.
go. But you're doing good. You are 4 for 5 right now.
How about Youngblood #1?
Youngblood #1 is not.
Really? Spawn was that?
The remaining 6 comics are either Marvel or DC comics.
Oh, wow. Oh, that makes it harder.
And remember,
Oh,
go ahead.
I don't know which series it was from.
Go ahead.
But is it Death in the Family? One of the Death in the Family stories?
The Killing of
The Killing of Robin?
It's not in the top
not in there?
10 selling. And listen, in order to get these numbers, I went through many, many different references to find out. Some have different ones as the top 10. These were the ones that came up the most.
How about Spider-Man #1?
Spider-Man #1
The one with
is
McFarlane.
number 4. It sold 2.5 million copies in 1990.
I actually have
That's
copies
me
of
too.
that too.
I think I have 6 of these, and I have all of the other reprints, the golden one.
Yeah.
I look at this one when I was pulling this. The art on this one is just so. It's so spectacular. The
It really is
detail
great.
that he had.
Yeah,
That
it's really
you
great.
got the top 5. Top 5 was the easy part.
Yeah, I think so.
The next 5, I'm not sure. I would venture to guess that you don't get one of them right. That's another clue. You're not going to get. And remember what I said. There were 2 Batman
Yep.
and there were 2 Superman. You have one Superman
Batman.
out.
I haven't seen any Batman yet. So what Batman? Oh, is it one of the ones where Batman gets his back broken?
No. We actually talked about
Nightfall.
one of these Batmans in a recent video. It came up in a recent video.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Actually, 2 of these comics came up in a recent video. One of them I bought recently. One of them we talked about recently.
Is it one of the 3 Jokers stories?
No.
No?
Are these guesses?
Yeah. These are guesses. Let me see.
About next guess, if you get it wrong, I'll give you number 6.
I am so...
And also remember, I said I own. These are all ones I own.
These are all ones
I
you
own
own.
off the top 5 I own.
Yeah.
There are 2 there that I don't own. So I printed pictures of the covers they represent.
Okay.
And one of them I mentioned I didn't own in a recent video with you. Hopefully you guys are enjoying our first game show here. Brian started out good, but now is failing miserably.
Yeah, I'm doing terrible now.
These are hard. I don't know if I would have got these. If you want, I'll give you what I think is the hardest one.
What's the hardest one?
I think number 7 is the hardest one.
Let me see what it is.
Number 7 is Fantastic Four number 60.
I would never have gotten that.
And the reason why it sold 750,000 copies because it was
It's quite a... I was only 9
only
cents.
9 cents.
Well, that's quite a drop.
So it sold tons and tons of copies because of the price.
Yeah, never.
I
would've
would
gotten
never have guessed this was on here. This was number 7. It sold 750,000 copies. Just so you know, on some of the top 10s, Free Comic Book Day, Ultimate Spider-Man #1 was on the list. I couldn't put that on mine because it wasn't sold.
Right.
It was a free
It
giveaway.
was free. How about the 10-cent Batman?
Number
10 cents
8
adventure.
is the 10-cent Batman Adventure. I do not own this comic.
I do. I have it. Yeah.
I should have asked you. 702,000 copies in 2002.
Yep.
This is a print of the cover. I don't own the comic. I'm going to look for it.
It was an attempt to get people to start buying Batman comics.
I mean, I don't understand why, if it sold so many issues, way more than a normal issue says, why they didn't do more of these. Why they don't do more of these 10 cent and 9
Probably because
cents.
it didn't draw readers, maybe.
They didn't come back.
They didn't come back.
People went, but you have, just you have people going into comic shops to buy them.
Yeah.
So the fact that you have people going into comic shops, and I guarantee you most people, when they went in and bought this, they didn't just spend 10 cents. They bought other stuff.
Maybe. You never know.
I think so.
Okay, so if that's true.
So you got your one Batman, you got your one Superman, you have 3 comics left. We have left 6, 9, and 10 are left.
Let's see. I think.
Therefore I am.
Not really. Was one of them like the Superman when he turns red and blue into like the electric thing?
No.
No?
I'll give you another hint. The last 3 are much more recent than any of the other comics.
Much more recent. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, all right. So then we're going to go maybe Batman #1 from Rebirth?
No.
Oh. Superman #1 from Rebirth?
Also no.
New 52.
Still no. Just going to throw out random things. I'll give you number 6 right now because
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think
stumped.
I don't think you would get number
Absolutely
6.
stumped.
Number 6 is Star Wars #1.
Never would have guessed.
Star Wars
Never.
#1 from 2015 sold 1 million copies.
Million.
1
million.
million copies.
Wow.
In this day and age
I got to say, it's a good book.
of Star Wars #1. Again,
Good.
the other
Very
one
good.
that I do not own. So there you go. You have your top 8.
That Star Wars series is pretty good.
These 2 are the most recent of the 2 released. Released within the last 5 years, both of them.
Oh my god.
I believe last 5 years or less.
And it's top 10 seller?
And the second clue that you would have is
Superman.
there's only one Superman, there's only one Batman, so one's a Superman, one's a Batman.
Is it the 80th?
I hope you're guessing
Is
them.
it the 80th anniversary issues? Oh no, the 1000.
It
Detective
is.
1000 and Action 1000.
Detective 1000 is number 9.
Okay.
It sold 526,000 copies of this because there were multiple covers and all the covers count.
Yep. And the other
Number
is Action
10.
1000.
Action Comics 1000 sold 528,000 copies. It's from 2018. These are, as unbelievable as it may seem, these are your top 10 best-selling comic books of all time. At number 1, X-Men #1. At number 2, X-Force #1. At number 3, Superman 75. At number 4, Spider-Man #1. At number 5, Spawn #1. A lot of number 1s in this list. At number 6, Star Wars #1. At number 7, the strangest one definitely on the list, Fantastic Four #60. It's a 9-cent edition. At number 8, Batman 10-cent Adventure. At number 9, Detective Comics #1000. And at number 10, Action Comics #1000. Comics nowadays do not sell like they used to sell.
Nope.
Those 2 sold in the 500,000s. 8 million copies of this sold.
So you could, that
8
was
million
at the
copies.
height of the bubble
The height of the bubble.
in the early 90s. Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed our first episode of Guess That Comic. If you like it, please leave a comment. Let us know how many of these you got right. If you guessed them, let us know if you think that there were ones here that were missing. Thanks for watching. Love what you collect.
Collect what you love.
We'll see you next time.